Welcome to Moon Harbor Extended. Today's issue is Hellspawn issue 11, The Haven. On the cover, the team stands at the front of a non-existent line for a tourist information stand. A young Latina woman in nurse's scrubs passes out brochures and maps while the team looks at her with confusion and distrust on their faces. We turn the page and our story begins. We open back to this town that you all have just walked into after the story gate, and it's more of like a village than a town in like modern terms. You guys had seen like the outer wall, which was pretty similar to like some like ancient or medieval walled town, but inside the buildings are a lot more eclectic. Like you can see building styles across like a lot of time periods and cultures, but they still look a bit off from those. Like basically like the building materials in Hell are kind of different from the ones in Earth. So things look familiar but off. And like, so we open to a large like full page panel, the same one from the end of the previous issue, where it's the three of you like standing in this gateway with the town right in front of you, with like a main street and buildings on both sides, and everything seems empty, like real, like y'all just walked into a Wild West kind of vibe.
So are the demons invisible? Like, should we just start swinging, or what do we do?
I mean, I assumed we'd be able to see them in their own plane of existence. That's how it usually works.
Yeah, not seeing much of anything. I think we get some panels by like scanning the area with their eye.
Are you trying to assess the situation?
You know what? I am.
Okay.
That's an 8.
Nice. On a 7 to 9, ask 1.
Okay, out of character reminder. What was our goal here? We were just checking it out, right? Because of the convergence of events.
Yeah, I was like, Demon wants to know who or what is like the population of this town. Why are demons guarding it? Like, are the demons prisoners? Are like the townspeople like working with demons? Or basically like, and also like, finally, are the townspeople friends or foes?
Okay.
I also found a connection in my conspiracy board that pointed me to here. So I have like personal harbinger future reasons for investigating.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I think I'm going to stick business-like and just go with what here is the biggest threat. I'm just looking out for dangers with everything we've seen so far.
That is a good question. So I think the answer to this is kind of subtle. With like the way that Hell has been drawn, a lot of things are kind of drained of color and muted, but the three of you have always been very colorful and vivid. And like as you step into this town, you kind of feel like a little bit drained, like nothing it's noticeable, but it's not like going to like impede you from doing anything. But like the three of you look a little less colorful.
Oof. Okay. I think in noticing this, I'm just going to kind of look at the other two and be, we need to be quick. I don't think it's safe to be here long.
I'm going to look at them and be like, so that's a no on invisible demons?
I mean, I probably have some glitter in here that I could throw out. If someone's invisible, it'll stick to them. I don't know if throwing glitter into a demon town is a good idea, though, but...
Yeah, that'll just be there forever.
I think we'll be okay, but I'm going to walk forward with like one hand, just like casually moving through the air, just like in case I run into anything invisible.
You do not.
I'm just going to like glance in windows and start investigating the town.
Yeah, I think the first couple of buildings you see are empty, but like as the three of you like pass by a few, you hear something on the other side of the street. It kind of sounds like one of the doors is about to open.
I'm going to turn and like whip the flail out and prepare for an attack if I need to.
And then what's Supai's and the Coincidence's reactions to this?
Oh, I'm spinning with my gun pointed.
And the Coincidence?
I think the Coincidence is probably still a little lost in himself from the ending of last session, so he's not fully reacting to what just happened. Like, they notice it out of the corner of their eyes, but they're still a little in their head because of the ending of last session.
Yep, oof.
Reminder for the listening audience, the Coincidence had a memory of their loved one ripped from their body. They don't know that Heathen recorded it, but that's okay. We'll get back to that.
So yeah, that's what's going on for their mind.
Oh man, poor Ziva. So the door opens, and we see like this panel of like the back of the three of you with like Supai and Heathen ready to fucking go. And out walks what looks like a Puerto Rican woman, like in her 30s, wearing nursing clothes. And she looks very surprised to see the three of you.
I don't know what I expected, but it wasn't this.
Are these nursing clothes like modern, older? What do they look like?
Pretty modern. The other thing that you also notice, I think particularly Supai after the SS, is that she's colorful, but significantly more muted than the three of you are. And like she kind of has her mouth open for a second before closing it and says, oh my God, three of you?
Yeah, and I think my gun barrel definitely droops a bit just because I'm confused.
Oh, hey, there's someone here. Hello.
Hi, I'm Natalia. Are you?
Hi, I'm Zira. Nice to meet you. You live here?
Yeah. How long have you been around? Like, how long did it take you all to find this place?
I want to grab Zira before he responds again. And I'm like, we don't trust strange humans that we find in hell because they're not humans. They turn into scary black demon monsters who try to destroy our friendships.
Zira raises a finger in the like, I want to object, and then just bites on the finger to stop themselves from saying something.
Heathen, was that something that Natalia could have heard?
Oh yeah, I'm not hiding that at all.
Okay.
I want to get closer and I'm like, who are you? What is this place? And I think I'm piercing her mask.
Roll to pierce the mask.
Ooh.
That is a 7.
So you get to ask one.
What are you really planning?
She's not necessarily planning anything, but she seems genuinely surprised and I think mostly concerned. Like she is genuinely concerned about your well-being.
I'm going to take a step back and look at her and be like, okay, sorry, that was a little harsh. Hi, I'm Heathen. And I look at Zira and I'm like, superhero names, remember? And then I'm like, hi, I'm Heathen. I'm with Demon.
Hey, I'm Zira.
That felt about right.
With demon singular?
The Department of Entities, Monstrosities, and Otherworldly Nonsense. We're kind of what it sounds like, actually.
I'm fairly certain I'm the entirety of the nonsense label.
Oh my god.
And Zira tries to like friendly smile at the person.
Yeah, she kind of nods. She nods and she's like, have not heard of that. Okay. You said superhero names?
Yeah, I mean, hero names in general, code names, call names, call signs, whatever you want to call it.
Wait, how long have you been here?
She pauses for a second and then looks at the three of you and is like, okay, well, what year is it?
2020.
There's a pause as Zero remembers that he's not in the future. It was about to say like 2120 and catches himself.
Her eyes kind of go to the side like she's doing some like mental calculations. And then she's like, okay, so I guess like 27 years?
So like, does this person look like an adult or our age or what?
She looks like she's in her 30s, like early 30s.
So you've been here since you were like a first grader?
No, I've been here since I was 32.
I never thought hell would do such wonders for your skin.
She like looks at the three of like your faces and then like gestures to the door and is like, do you want to come in and sit down?
Are there invisible demons that are gonna like eat us if we do?
No.
Good enough for me. And I just walk right in.
I'm gonna follow.
As Subai and Heathen are walking in, I want to like lean over just so only Heathen can hear me and be like, just be careful. I'm not positive this isn't Veronix.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, and inside it's a pretty like a relatively modern looking kind of place. It kind of looks like a building from like mid 20th century with like a couple bits of like some like later style furniture, but it looks not cozy but like normal. But there's like a living room with seats.
So apparently we stayed in the bad part of hell, looking at Heathen.
Yeah, we got iron towers and giant flying angler whales, and you get mid-century hand-me-down chic. Cute.
Oh yeah, I think I've heard of that section. That's a ways away.
We apparently got the royal treatment. That's where the king of hell is supposed to live.
Yeah, we're glad we're a decent distance.
Are there ever people around here?
She pauses and is like, yes, but I'm the, I guess, most awake one.
Oh, I don't like that actually. Not one bit. I and we see me like starting to flip through books and like try to like find information on like demons that drain life energy out of people.
Could we perhaps get a little explanation on what you mean?
Yeah, I was hoping we could all sit down and I could do my usual like welcome talk, but you guys actually seem, I don't know, like equipped. Like you look like this is not a long-term stop for you.
As she says equipped, I look over at Zira and I'm like, no, don't pull out the vacuum cleaner.
I'm already like halfway out. You see the head of the Tupperware like poking out of my bag, and I slowly stuff it back in. Wait, are you saying people voluntarily come here for a permanent stay?
She sits down in one of the chairs and like gestures for like the three of you to sit down. Like her face looks very much like a very like patient school teacher, I think, kind of like, okay, let's do this one step at a time.
I am not gonna sit.
Okay.
Zira finds a chair and sits on it cross-legged.
Because queer people can't sit right.
Exactly.
Yup.
So if I will sit, but tentatively, I'm so uncomfortable with all of this.
I'm loving these reactions.
I'm half listening and also pacing and like reading the book at the same time.
Yeah, do you have like a specific move for research or?
No, I've got access to a wealth of obscure knowledge, but I'm just gonna. I could roll and assess. I've got the 3 like special questions, but I feel like I'd rather let her talk and roll later.
That could also kind of be an unleash to extend your knowledge senses.
I mean, it also kind of sounds like a thing that could probably happen like later in the conversation to actually like give her time to read through and find stuff.
That's what I was thinking. I was gonna like listen and like as she's saying keywords, I'm gonna like start like looking through for those keywords. So I'll let her go for a sec.
So she starts talking. So I guess I kind of have to rethink how I do this, since normally when somebody comes in, they've been in hell and lost for a while and have like somehow managed to find this place by asking around and trying to find like one of the few safe places. But it honestly looks like the 3 of you haven't even been here all too long. How long have you been in hell?
Hour and a half this time, roughly.
Wow, okay. I definitely want to circle back to this time because that sounds interesting. But I guess let me introduce you to this place a bit. This is called the Haven. I came here when I came here. There was a bit of a mix-up. I used to work at a nursing home, and there was an incident where one of the residents passed away while I was in the room, and the ferryman came to pick him up, and I accidentally also got collected, but was still alive. So what I've found in this town is that if you're alive and are stuck in hell for a bit, you don't really die, but you're not really alive either. It's a weird place to end up. Some people manage to find their way out, and like maybe I could have, but there's a lot of the other residents that have been here a lot longer and need help. So I'm essentially like doing my like nursing assistant job here, but with a lot older population.
That sounds like and forgive this pun, but hell.
I mean, if we could take you all back to... I lean over. In your time, the planet is also called Earth, right?
Yes.
Oh, I was asking my team, but that works too.
Oh, okay, sorry.
No. I think it's very funny that like Zero does not have a good inside voice. Yes. We could take you back, and I guess probably most of the people here. I lean towards the other 2 who know demon stuff better than me because I don't pay attention. Could probably take you all back to Earth if you wanted.
Probably.
She kind of frowns and is like, "Yeah, that's something that's I've heard has come up a couple times, but like I could probably go back fairly easily. It's the older residents that I really stay here for. Like they don't really have a place to go back to. And I feel like the culture shock and the time shock would just be too much. And honestly, I think if I'm really not sure if somebody has been here for long enough, whether going back to Earth, they would continue on as they previously were, or if they would just die.
But you said this place is safe. Is anyone ever attacked? What kind of place is this?
It used to get attacked fairly frequently when this was first founded a long time ago, way before my time. That's why we have like demons guarding the place. We used to have more demons, but eventually the demons like across hell kind of realized, oh, we might as well just like leave this place alone. It's just this one place. So lately it's been calm.
I've been in hell a fair share, and I know a lot about demons for someone from Earth. That sounds like a load of bullshit.
She like looks very shocked when you say that.
Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just used to the world-ending, apocalypse-bringing demons, but I've never known a demon to show mercy, with the exception of like Ravenous and the Storygate, and I mean, I guess Ignatius. Okay, up until like a week and a half ago, I had never known a demon to show mercy, and now I'm reconsidering everything that I'm saying. Give me one moment. And I like turn around and like turn away from her and start flipping through the book.
I mean, we have met some nice friends. Iggy's a great friend, and then there's you made friends with the pit demon. You know, there's something real going on there.
Natalia kind of chuckles at this whole like exchange and is just like, okay, so when we're done, I want to go take you to meet Isara. I feel like the two of you could have a very interesting conversation.
Cool. I look at her and I'm like, can you spell that for me? Sorry, I'm just trying to do some research really fast. Isara, I-S-I-Z. How do we spell that?
A-E-S-A-R-A.
Great. Cool. Thank you. And I start flipping through the book again.
Said this was like a book about demons.
Yeah, I brought like one or two books with me when I went to hell. I think I've got like an encyclopedia of demons from like probably some like 1600s like person who got like stuck there for a while, who like managed to make it out, who like recorded. So it's all very, very rough and there's not a lot of information there. But think like Dante's Inferno kind of levels of like over the top mythos that I'm using as a reference.
Excellent.
I'm not gonna roll a move. I'm just flipping through this book.
Yeah, no, I was just curious. Yeah, she can be very rambly and is definitely in a bit of like a feedback loop where she's not talking enough with, I guess, more modern people. So sometimes she's a bit hard to understand, but I guess she's the most like knowledgeable about demons and their nature in the Haven.
Maybe that's why we're here. We can learn something. Maybe that'll help us stop things from ending up badly.
I mean, if you want to learn things, a lot of our older residents are. I mean, I would have to help wake them up, but there's some really interesting people here. That's part of why I wanted to stay.
What do you mean by wake them up?
She sighs and she's like, so like I said, if you're here long enough, like you don't really die, but it's you're not really super alive either. But if you're here like a long time, like a couple 100 years long time, I mean, you just kind of start to be like not catatonic, but just like you just start to lose energy, and eventually, if you aren't doing much, like you're just kind of like asleep, and like this is reversible. Like if you can find food to eat and like you're with people, you can generally like wake up and are fine. So some of the older like residents are, for the most part, pretty asleep most of the time. I try to wake them up every now and then to check how they're doing, make sure they still want to be here and they don't want to, I don't know, try to find a way to eventually get to their underworld. But it's mostly just they've been here a long time.
Hey, can we circle back a second? When we arrived, you were like 3 of them. What was that about?
Oh, normally if somebody arrives here, it's just the one person.
Okay, not like some nefarious, like, there's a demon sucking all of our souls out, so therefore, if there are 3 of them, more power kind of deal? I just assumed again, history, demons, evil, except for like 3, but mostly evil.
Don't make no that makes sense. Just no. I normally if somebody arrives, they're solo and they've been going through hell for quite a while. So seeing 3 people together was a bit of a shock.
I want to look at Supai and try to like, without saying like, "Hey, we need to talk," be like eyebrow wiggling and like subtle hand motions to be like, "Hey, let's go talk." Though it's probably less subtle than I think it is.
Hey, I know you haven't been to Earth for like 27 years. I have conspiracy boards to catch you up on everything you've missed on. I'm just gonna pull those up, and just starts projecting boards with every past event in a very, very organized fashion, obviously,
Oh, of course.
to engage in a conversation to give Hugh and Sapai an out.
I would start like backing out of the room, be like, "Oh, you're lucky. Those boards are just something."
Something is right. And then I close the door in front of myself and I'm out, and I think we go out to the street.
Okay, yeah, I think we see as the 2 of you leave, we see Zero with the conspiracy board out, and Natalia looks genuinely interested, but is also just like,
Oh, yeah.
it is also just like, okay, you're gonna have to show this later to Aphoros. Like he is going to love this. This is so organized.
Zero's nodding. All right, yeah, and tell you, okay, so you gotta follow from here to this board, and it's just like a zoom out as the boards start filling up the room.
Yeah, she is delighted. Let's jump over to Heathen and Spy.
So this is really sketchy, right? Like, you're with me here?
I think so, but like, Veronic's would have stabbed one of us by now, right?
I don't know. Last time she was all like, "Supai, I want to turn you against your best friend and make you hate me." You know, and that there was some mind games. So we were with her for a couple hours before she, obliterated everything inside me and also almost killed us.
Yeah, that's true.
So maybe another mind game?
Maybe, but I'm not really sure what to do about it.
I mean, I don't think Veronix can be more than one person at a time. Maybe we should meet some of these other people and see what's going on. If we split up, I mean, we could, I don't know, 2-on-1. I talk to a couple other people.
I'm not sure if splitting up's the best idea when we think it might be Veronix. And I'm going to kind of look at the door worried, realizing what I just said with Zero alone in there. As Icy, realize what I just said with Zero alone in there.
I look over at the door and kind of like shrug, and I'm like, I mean, they'll scream if anything happens.
Okay.
Love the support.
I don't think we should go far, but maybe if, I don't know, we get her to introduce us to some of these other people.
Yeah, I just think maybe we stay as a group and just keep an eye on her.
I mean, yeah, this feels like it's too good to be true.
Yeah, I agree.
Give me a minute, I'm gonna look around. Maybe there's something we're missing. And I wanna go ahead and roll to assess the situation again.
Okay.
Are you like walking around doing this, or?
I think I'm like turning in the street and flipping through the book at the same time.
Okay.
That is a 7, and when I assess the situation, because I still got it, I can always ask one of the following questions, even on a miss. So first, I'm going to start with, whose powers are the most trouble? I'm specifically looking to see, like, what is making everyone here so tired and lethargic, to be like, is this a demon? Actually, first I'm looking to be like, hey, does this look like it could be Veronix? But if that is not the most trouble, then the next question is like, okay, then what is draining the energy of these people?
Yeah, you're not sensing any weird powers from like a particular like person, creature, demon. The draining feeling that you're sensing is also not from like some kind of creature. It just seems to be like embedded in hell. Like it's this whole place.
Okay, my second question is going to be, what here can I use to... Actually, no, I'm just going to skip the second question. I don't think I need another question. I now know that she is likely not Veronix, as far as we can tell.
Cool.
I turn back to Supai and I'm like, I don't think that's Veronix. Based on all the information I have, it doesn't seem like Veronix drains anyone's powers. And I'm not feeling any weird, like, demonic activity. I I can't access it, but it's still running through my blood and I can still kind of feel it. And I don't feel anything specific coming from her. So I think we're okay.
Hopefully. I'm still going to keep an eye on her.
Yeah. Do you want to go back in?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So, Zero, what are you showing Natalia when the two of them walk in?
So actually, I have a quick question. I was wondering, is there a particular like year in like 20 or like 10 to 20 years ago in Moon Harbor history where like a big event happened?
Want to use the one we always use?
Mutagen crisis?
That's what I was thinking.
What year was that?
About 18 years ago, 17 years ago.
Yeah, like somewhere 15-ish years ago.
Oh, no, yeah, 15-ish years ago. Because Al was alive.
So now that we've explained all the boards from 2005 to 2015, we can go back to explain the Fusion Crisis board because it only makes sense once you understand what happens afterwards. So if we look over here, and Zero pulls up more boards. Now this one's a multi-boarder. There's a lot going on, so we're gonna have to start in this one. You follow, and Zero's just completely in it.
Hey, I think we should meet your friend, the Isara girl.
Oh, hey, you're back. Hey.
I want to look around the room and just see how like every inch is now covered in projected conspiracy boards.
Yeah, and Natalia turns over to you, Zira, and is like, okay, so sounds like we should put a pin in it and get back to this.
Zero pauses for a second, pulls a pin out, throws it, and it just goes through all the holograms. Yeah, I've tried that before. It just doesn't work.
She like genuinely laughs. That was super funny.
Oh my god.
And then she turns to look over at Heathen and is like, yeah, let me just go grab some food from my kitchen and we can head on over. And she like gets up and goes over to an older looking kitchen, but like there's some food.
So, how's the town outside? Learn anything fun?
I don't think this is Veronix, the demon that like ruined our friendship and also kind of made me watch my best friend die over and over. But you know, still keeping an eye on her. I think that I said quiet enough that Natalia didn't hear.
Okay.
Zero nods slowly and just goes, "That's pretty good. That's good news, I think, right? Should be. Am I getting nods, head shakes? What are we feeling here?"
Nods. Yeah, I don't think it's Veronix, but God, we've been wrong before.
I mean, to be fair, we didn't know Veronix was a thing last time we were wrong. So like we were wrong, but like wrong by default, you know? That's a thing, right?
But it only takes being wrong once. We got lucky last time.
And Natalia walks out with like a basket of like some fairly regular looking fruit. Looks like not like fresh, but not rotten. Just like, oh, it's been out a few days. She's like, cool, y'all ready to go?
I actively take a step back from the basket and I'm like, okay, if I know anything about mythology, none of us should eat that.
It looks like bread to me.
I think that's fairies. I think we're good. I've never read anything about not eating hell food.
Persephone, literally the whole myth of Persephone. Who are you two?
I mean, I'm more of a fan of like, well, whatever. I mean, it doesn't seem like a problem. They're just berries. We can't eat the lava soup. We might as well get to eat this.
As they reach forward, smack both of their hands.
Yeah, Natalia also moves the basket away from your hands. She's like, no, that's for the residents. You said you've only been here for an hour and a half, and it kind of sounded like you at least like have a way to get back, or trying to go somewhere else. Getting food is a bit of a hassle here. Gotta use it well.
Okay, but I gotta know at least, do they taste like earth berries or do they taste like hellberries?
What do hellberries taste like?
Well, that's what we'll be finding out, wouldn't it? But no, someone slapped our hand.
She shrugs and she's like, they taste like regular fruits and berries, just like not as flavorful. Like, oh, that's kind of close, but a little disappointing.
Like a LaCroix, I get it.
She doesn't get that reference though.
No, she wouldn't. That's a very modern thing.
Oh, so like less like hellberries and more like berry hell. Huh?
I walk out the door.
She like kind of like turns to her, like tilts her head aside, and she's like, I guess more like berry purgatory is what it feels more like. And then she goes to leave out through the door to show you where y'all are going. And Natalia starts heading for a building that looks definitely older. Like if you had to place a guess on like where and when, it looks kind of like ancient Greek.
Ooh, pillars. I didn't know you also built with pillars in your time.
Oh, this has been here like long before I got here. Like I cannot emphasize enough. I've only been here 27 years, and a lot of the residents are very, very old.
How many residents are there?
Like roughly a dozen. It varies. The older ones tend to want to stay put. Sometimes the younger ones want to try to find a way out, see if they can, whether or not they can go back to maybe not their lives because it's been too long, but something, or just die. They're kind of feeling done with this like purgatory. But right now it's like about a dozen, not including the three of you. And she doesn't knock on the door. She just straight up opens it and walks in, holding it open for the three of you.
I'm gonna follow, looking around.
I'm gonna go in last, I think.
I guess that makes me second.
Inside, it is kind of darkish, but and like lit up with candles. And it definitely like fits the outside. Like it looks ancient Greek. Like there's a hearth in the center. Like all of the furniture is in that style, and there's less rooms. It's kind of more of just like there's like this one main room, and then there's like, it looks like there's a couple offshoots, but this place looks a bit more like a library. Like there is a whole wall that looks basically like those like diagonal style wine racks where it's got like all of the boards in diagonals and then crossing them to hold the wine bottles. It's that, but on a like whole wall, and the like gaps are bigger and it's full of scrolls. So like old style library. And there's a man who is like sitting at a desk but is kind of like hunched over a bit. And then there's a woman laying, like not laying, like reclining on I guess like the equivalent of a couch. And like they both kind of look like what she had described as like asleep in quotation marks. Like they're like in hiatus.
Alana immediately goes over to the scrolls. I don't think she's touching any of them because she's afraid they're gonna crumble, but she's like trying to read like what's peeking out of them to like see, like read if there's labels on any of them and try to like examine things.
There's not really labels on them. Like you can see a few where like you can see the top of the paper inside of it, like the first couple lines, and it's kind of very much like a lot of old style, like even the hardcover books just didn't have the title on the spine or even like the cover. You had to open it. And same with the scroll. You had to open the scroll to see what was inside. So you can't really find out what's inside without opening them up.
Is it English or is it ancient Greek?
It's ancient Greek.
I walk away and I'm like, fuck, I studied the wrong dead language. Why did I study Latin?
But I guess I should probably describe what these two people look like. So there's the guy in like at the desk. He's older, like late 60s, curly gray hair, short beard. He's wearing, think like that philosopher looking throw over cloak called a himation. It is not a toga. Togas are Roman. It's a hill that I will die on. And he's pretty much almost entirely drained of color, but there's like some red in his clothes. Then the woman who's reclining looks like early 50s, dark curly brown hair that's in a pretty like elaborate, like somewhere between like an updo and a braid. And she's wearing like the Greek style peplos dress with, she's got like slightly more color than this dude. And her dress has like bits of yellow. And Natalia gestures and she's like, okay, so I mentioned Asara to you. This is Asara. And she gestures toward the woman. And then she looks over at Zira and is like, and then you were showing me like trying to catch me up on all of this history. And she points over at the man. So this is a Phoros. He's, I guess, like the first historian. He would love everything you've got on that board.
Would I recognize the name or the figure of Thoros?
I mean, how versed is Zira in like ancient history?
God.
Way back in the 1980s.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Gosh, that's a good question. I think they're like history knowledge is probably more centered in non-Greco-Roman mythologies.
Okay.
So probably not for this then.
Yeah, no, you probably would not have heard of him. But like I will absolutely like cater to I will absolutely cater to non-Greco-Roman stuff. Like I've got you.
If no one else does anything, Zero will just perk up and go, "Hey, I heard you might be interested in these." And Zero presses a button, but didn't reset it from the living room, so all of them just pop out at once.
Oh my god.
And some more, and Zero tries to get under control, more keep popping out.
Natalia laughs and like comes over and like Aphoros hasn't moved at all, and she's like, 1 second, and kind of like puts a fruit in his mouth and like holds it up to his mouth, and he takes a moment to eat it, and like a little bit of color returns to him, but like he's moving and like his eyes open and he's gradually getting more awake, and like as once he's doing that on his own, she goes over to Asara and starts doing the same thing.
While she's doing that, I want to turn to my 2 teammates and be like, okay, keep them all in the same room. Let's talk to all 3 of them together, but like all within eyesight of each other. Cool? Like, Zero, why don't you talk to the old guy? Supai, I guess I don't know. Do you want to talk to Asara? Asara, do you want to talk to Natalia? What? How do you want to do this?
Well, Natalia wanted you to talk to Asara.
So you get probably not Veronix then.
Hopefully none of us get Veronix.
All right, go team. Break.
Zero's already like too deep into conspiracy boards to realize the like breakout that's happening, and just flashes a thumbs up when they realize that there was a team conversation going on.
Moon Harbor Heroes is produced by Anthony Sheets, TP Huth, and Elliot Peterson, and edited by Anthony Sheets and Sean Geddes. Anthony can be found on Twitter at IcyNewYear or at icynewyear.com. T is a theater artist and educator in the DC area. She can be found at thuth playwright on Twitter or tphuth94 on Instagram. Elliot can be found at Elliotylen, ELLIOTYLEN on Twitter. Sean can be found at The Crumpit, THECRUMPIT on Twitter. Moon Harbor Heroes is played using Masks: A New Generation, written by Brendan Conway and produced by Magpie Games. Our logo was designed by Beautiful Beasties. She can be found on Instagram at beastly.doodles or on Patreon at patreon.com/beautifulbeasties. The music in this issue is Halls of the Undead by Kevin MacLeod. A link to his website and the license will be in the show notes. This issue is GM'd by Elliot Peterson. The Coincidence was played by Amr Amaraz. Amr is what happens if puns gain sentience and developed a love of math, writing, and superheroes. They lend their voice to a variety of projects, both as a writer and a performer, as well as design games of their own. You can follow their exploits on their Twitter account at Amaraz. That's AMMOURAZZ. Supai is played by Anthony Sheets. Heathen is played by T. Huth. Heathen was played using the Enduring playbook. The Enduring was written by John of Listen to These Nerds. They can be found at LTTNcast on Twitter. If you want to get a hold of us, email us at moonharborheroes@gmail.com or find us on Twitter at moonharborcast. If you enjoyed this issue, please leave us a review on your podcatcher of choice or tell a friend. 5-star reviews and word of mouth are really the best way for us to keep bringing these stories to more people. If you'd like to support us financially, check us out at patreon.com/moonharborheroes. Supporting us there will give you access to bonus issues each month. And thank you for helping us save the world. We'll see you next issue.